Hello and welcome to Somatic Healing, Release, Restore, and Reclaim by Sol de Luz Wellness with Natalia. I'm Natalia, your host and CEO of Sol de Luz Wellness. I'm also a chronic pain survivor, a Reiki master, a wellness coach, and an advocate for those with chronic and mental illness. This module is important to me. It is something that I created so that you don't feel alone. In this module, you'll start tuning into your body's inner genius. Together, we'll shake off the stress, hit the reset button, and unleash your vitality. Before we start, let's look up some facts, a quick Google search that can tell you more about chronic illness. Mind, body, and connection isn't woo-woo. It's neuroscience and nervous system regulation. So, knowing that it's not woo-woo, it's not crazy. Natural medicine is not crazy, guys. What's crazy is the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. If you're anything like me, you've been to many doctors, you've gotten diagnosis, you've started treatment, you're doing everything that you think you need to do to get better. But unfortunately, it's not that easy with chronic illness, right? And let's look at these facts. 133 million Americans have at least one chronic illness, such as heart disease, diabetes, arthritis, which is projected to rise to 170 million by 2030. That's 5 years. Those numbers still blow my mind. I was diagnosed over 20 years ago when all this stuff was still new. And reading that alone, it's a lot, right? Another fact is chronic diseases are the leading driver of the nation's annual healthcare expenditures, with 90% of the 4.9 trillion in a year spending going towards people with chronic and mental health conditions. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of people. Another fact is chronic illnesses are the leading cause of illness, disability, death in the United States, with nearly half of the population affected, which means those of us that have chronic illness or mental illness are not alone. And if you don't have it, then you probably know somebody that does, which is why this module is so important. Again, we're going to be looking at the mind-body connection and how this all fits together. So we're talking about how energy affects chronic illness and why releasing emotional and energetic weight matters. Chronic illness stores fear. So we're talking about how energy affects chronic illness and why releasing emotional and energetic weight matters. Chronic illness stores fear and frustration in the body. Heavy energy keeps nervous system stuck in survival mode. Release creates space for relief, clarity, and healing. And when the body feels safe, symptoms soften and the system resets. Chronic illness isn't just about physical symptoms. Years of pain, medical gaslighting, exhaustion, survival mode, creating layers of emotional residue in the tissues. Like those muscle knots you get in your shoulders when you've just experienced an argument or something and your body starts to act out. That. That residue shows up as tension, fatigue, inflammation, and shutdown. The result? Stress equals disease. And the more stress you have, the sicker you are. Now, this is something that I learned at Maharishi International University. Any type of stress on your body can create disease. Let me give you a few examples. Stress on the ears. Very loud music all the time. Have you heard? Oh, if you put your headphones on too loud, you're going to go deaf. Well, actually, I know when I was younger, I didn't think it was true, but it is. And it's because it's so loud in your ear that you're putting constant stress on all the little parts of your ears that work. And eventually they fall apart, right? Another one, diabetes is constant stress because your body cannot control and balance your sugars correctly. Therefore, that stress creates other stressors in your body, making you more and more sick. So on and so forth. Energy is real, and energy creates disease. Why somatic healing matters. Again, chronic stress, trauma, and tension are energies that are stored in your body. Okay? Your body doesn't know what to do with it, so it stores it. Things such as talk therapy can be helpful, right? To try to release some of that energy, past traumas. However, somatic therapy works because it helps your body release physically, not just by talking. Talking is not the only way of helping you release traumas. We'll talk a little bit more about that too, but definitely somatic therapy is something that has helped me tremendously, not only physically with physical therapy, not only mentally with trauma therapy, and not only spiritually with spiritual therapy. It has helped me get to know myself, what my body needs, what I'm comfortable with, and that's when healing happens because you grow in awareness, right? You have movement, and awareness of movement together is safety combined. The body remembers what your mind forgets. So letting go of energy is so, so important, especially when it's trapped. All right. So, in order to learn how to release this energy, we first need to learn about awareness. We first need to learn about awareness. What is awareness? What is self awareness? And what is it to not have awareness of self? Awareness is the doorway to healing. You can't release what you don't notice. I, for example, am someone who went on without noticing a lot of things. I was so busy taking care of everyone else. I wasn't noticing what my body was screaming at me for many, many years. And unfortunately, when you have chronic illness, that's pretty normal. So, awareness is the practice of listening to your body without judgment. Have you ever tried that? Have you ever tried sitting with yourself, shutting off the judgmental voices? It is the most beautiful experience. As someone who struggles with chronic pain, I know that sitting alone with myself used to be scary because in those moments I would focus on the chronic pain and it would intensify. However, I'm here to tell you that there's a way around that. So let's talk about loss of self awareness. Okay, this is a phenomenon where you're losing yourself, the loss of self, a diminished sense of personal identity. Now, how many of us have gotten lost to ourselves due to chronic illness? I know when I was first diagnosed with fibromyalgia at 26 years old, I had already had a couple years of living with chronic illness before my diagnosis. And it was almost like the loss of identity, the social isolation, the lack of understanding, the emotional toll, the perception of who I was completely changed. It was like this identity completely took over. All I was for a long time was my chronic illness. I know that you know what I mean. It's like we know we're so much more than that, but we're dealing with all these things that take a toll on us. Chronic illness causes depression. It causes worsening conditions, higher rates of suicide, unfortunately, with numbers that will outweigh any positivity if you let it. However, what if I told you that the first step to breaking that is becoming aware of yourself? Now, a lot of people think that they're aware of themselves. Let's be real, right? A lot of people think that they have self-awareness, but they don't. Self-awareness is not just who you think you are. It's why do I do the things that I do? It's how I take care of my body. It's how I take care of the energy that surrounds me. It's how I build the healthy boundaries. Self-awareness will always be first and be key to your healing. Okay, so now you know about self-awareness. Now you know that you need to be a little bit more aware of yourself than what you're used to. Okay, so let's set the mood. Now, I made a list. Here are some things you can do to set the mood for your own personal healing. Now, I wanted to put this in the beginning of this video, but I didn't want to come off as too bossy. Only because I don't want y'all distracted. No, but seriously, I want you guys to be as comfortable as I am. I'm coming through you, to you, through you, this video from my bed. Why? Well, my back was hurting today and I had a little bit of a flare up. So I'm going to manage as best as I can. And that's what I want for you guys, right? So before you start trying to continue this module, and before anytime you try to sit down with yourself and do any kind of healing work, I want you to go through this list, okay? It starts with creating a calming atmosphere. That to me is so important because your environment is part of your diet. Anything you take in with your five senses is your diet, including your environment. So having soothing music, a clean space, a clear space, like cleansing the energy, comfort and support, water is a must or tea, and blanket, and of course meditation. And meditation before you start. Meditation before you meditate, basically, right? Because you want to tell yourself that you are safe. Now, in this moment, I am picturing walking into a doctor's office and the anxiety that I get hours, maybe even a day or two before the appointment. I will have extreme anxiety. Why? Well, for me, it's my PTSD. I have had a lot of really scary appointments, scary situations. I have been in situations where I have not been believed. And if you live with chronic illness, this is something that we live with. Every appointment, every doctor's visit, every emergency room visit is this, are they going to believe me? Are they really going to help me? Are they going to give me answers? And usually it's a letdown. And the hospitals and doctor's offices, they're not comfortable. So does healing really happen? No. If anything, you're causing more stress, right? I mean, healing happens, so don't get it twisted. I'm not saying doctors are bad. What I'm saying is, as you're sitting in the waiting room for hours waiting to be seen, to only be seen for 15 to 20 minutes and rushed back out the door, is true healing really happening? No. They're just covering up your symptoms, right? But we want to get into the nitty gritty and we want to get into it. So setting the mood for healing in your own space is so important because this starts with you. This starts with you and your space and your boundaries and you being kind to yourself. And doing something like this and making sure that the area around you is calm and soothing is so important, especially if you're like me and you got ADHD and you're easily distracted. Yeah, we don't do that. So even before starting this, I cleaned up a little bit. I did an incense. I balanced myself a little bit with a short meditation so that I can do this. Because if y'all knew the anxiety that I had before starting this, you would know that it's probably gonna, if I don't do this and follow, what is it? Talk the talk, walk the walk. If I don't walk the walk, then I'm gonna end up with the flare up too. So again, set the mood for healing always, every day, all the time, every chance you get. Okay, we have knowledge on awareness, self-awareness. We have knowledge on setting the mood. Now let's talk about breath as medicine. Breath is the bridge between the mind and the body. I need y'all to say that with me. Breath is the bridge between the mind and the body. And to express how important the breath is, let me drop a little knowledge on y'all, okay? What's the first thing you do when you come to this earth? Breathe. Not cry. You have to breathe before you cry. What is the last thing you do when you depart your body? Breathe. You take that last breath and you let go. Your breath is so important that you don't even always notice it. You don't notice if you're taking deep breaths. Sometimes we notice those, right? But we don't do that often. And we don't notice when we're taking short and shallow breaths. How are you breathing right now? Your breath is important in controlling your nervous system, okay? A longer exhale can calm the vagus nerve and lower cortisol. Those two things, vagus nerve, cortisol, are the things that you need to keep calm in order not to have a flare up. Imagine that. Working on you. Have you tried a breathing exercise? Try one with me. Come on, let's do it. We're going to do 3 rounds of deep breathing together. Okay? It's not that hard. You're going to breathe in for 3 seconds. You're going to pause for 3 seconds. You're going to breathe out for 4 seconds. Ready? Now, I did that by 4s. I know I said by 3. I'm a little bit more used to this. But again, that's what it looks like. And you can do it by any count that you want. Again, I'm going to come on here real quick and I'm going to hit pause. Because I'm going to tell you, there is no real right or wrong way to do it. It's your breathing. Okay? So let's release control, and focus on your breath. One more time. We're going to do 4. In for 4, hold for 4, release for 4. Ready? Again. Not that hard. One more. Great. It's that simple. Now, this is just a beginning. This is just an introduction to what breath as medicine is, okay? There are so many breath work instructors that you can go to. There's different types of breath work. There's different types of breathing. There's different exercises that you can do. There's different patterns. I know some breath works, when I first started, they did the heavy, fast breathing. And that was too much for me at first. It would give me worse anxiety. So just be careful what you do, but have fun with it. What I want you to remember the most with breath as medicine is that each breath is a bridge back home. I know we said that in the beginning, but it's so true. Your breath is important. You are important. And doing something like breath work for 10 minutes a day in the morning, if that, will help your nervous system so much moving forward so that you don't have the flare ups, so that you're not, and if you do have the flare ups, so that you can manage them better. Because I know that's what it is for me. I still get the flare ups, but I'm able to manage my way through them better without the depression, without the thoughts, without the extraness of having chronic illness. I am able to get up in the morning, do what I got to do to feel better, do what I have to do throughout the day. And if I need another 10 minutes to do something else to help myself better, this is me telling you to give yourself permission to do so. All right, something else that can help you restore your body would be gentle movements. And when I say gentle, my loves, I mean gentle. A lot of Okay, we have knowledge on awareness, self-awareness. We have knowledge on setting the mood. Now let's talk about breath as medicine. Breath is the bridge between the mind and the body. I need y'all to say that with me. Breath is the bridge between the mind and the body. And to express how important the breath is, let me drop a little knowledge on y'all, okay? What's the first thing you do when you come to this earth? Breathe. Not cry. You have to breathe before you cry. What is the last thing you do when you depart your body? Breathe. You take that last breath and you let go. Your breath is so important that you don't even always notice it. You don't notice if you're taking deep breaths. Sometimes we notice those, right? But we don't do that often. And we don't notice when we're taking short and shallow breaths. How are you breathing right now? Your breath is important in controlling your nervous system, okay? A longer exhale can calm the vagus nerve and lower cortisol. Those two things, vagus nerve, cortisol, are the things that you need to keep calm in order not to have a flare up. Imagine that. Working on you. Have you tried a breathing exercise? Try one with me. Come on, let's do it. We're going to do 3 rounds of deep breathing together. Okay? It's not that hard. You're going to breathe in for 3 seconds. You're going to pause for 3 seconds. You're going to breathe out for 4 seconds. Ready? No, I did that by 4s. I know I said by 3. I'm a little bit more used to this. But again, that's what it looks like. And you can do it by any count that you want. Again, I'm going to come on here real quick and I'm going to hit pause. Because I'm going to tell you, there is no real right or wrong way to do it. It's your breathing. Okay? So let's release control, and focus on your breath. One more time. We're going to do 4. In for 4, hold for 4, release for 4. Ready? Again. Not that hard. One more. Great. It's that simple. Now, this is just a beginning. This is just an introduction to what breath as medicine is, okay? There are so many breath work instructors that you can go to. There's different types of breath work. There's different types of breathing. There's different exercises that you can do. There's different patterns. I know some breath works, when I first started, they did the heavy, fast breathing. And that was too much for me at first. It would give me worse anxiety. So just be careful what you do, but have fun with it. What I want you to remember the most with breath as medicine is that each breath is a bridge back home. I know we said that in the beginning, but it's so true. Your breath is important. You are important. And doing something like breath work for 10 minutes a day in the morning, if that, will help your nervous system so much moving forward so that you don't have the flare-ups, so that you're not, and if you do have the flare-ups, so that you can manage them better. Because I know that's what it is for me. I still get the flare-ups, but I'm able to manage my way through them better without the depression, without the thoughts, without the extraness of having chronic illness. I am able to get up in the morning, do what I got to do to feel better, do what I have to do throughout the day. And if I need another 10 minutes to do something else to help myself better, this is me telling you to give yourself permission to do so. All right, something else that can help you restore your body would be gentle movements. And when I say gentle, my loves, I mean gentle. A lot of times we want to keep up with the norm. I remember when I first got diagnosed with chronic illness, I joined the gym because I said I'm going to be healthy and I'm going to do things. I even had a little trainer who pushed me so hard I couldn't walk or work for a week. Therefore, gentle movements are important, okay? Small movements help your body release the energy. Shoulder twist, shoulder rolls, gentle twist, stretching, anything. Spending 2 to 3 minutes or more exploring gentle movements is a blessing in disguise. Let me tell you why. For me, movement equals pain, right? However, what I realized is that I was over protecting myself, right? I didn't want to take a long walk because taking a long walk would hurt. So instead of walking, I'd stay home on the couch and, taking my meds and watching the next novela. However, the non movement part would create more disease in me. My arthritis would act up. I'd stiffen up from not moving. My diabetes would act up because you need exercise to stay healthy. And so on and so forth. Even fibromyalgia. If you're in the same position for too long, your muscles become stiff and it hurts. So, what are some things that I do? I keep it slow, exploratory. Again, there's no right or wrong way. Okay. There's a wrong way because you don't want to hurt yourself, right? But there's no right or wrong way because you're going to find what works for you. Not for Tom, not for Sally who did aerobics yesterday and feels amazing. No, for you and your body. What is helping you? What feels right for you? What can you do where you're not pushing so far that you're going to cause a flare up? Did you hear that? What can you do that you're not pushing so hard that you're going to cause a flare up? Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. This was the hardest part for me because, again, we want to be normal. When I joined the gym and wanted to be with the normal crowd, I pushed because I was expecting myself to do work that people with chronic illness do and don't get the same amount of pain as us, right? So, gentle movements, shoulder rolls, neck circles, side stretches. Something that I like to do is yin yoga. Go right on YouTube, find a short yin yoga, YIN yoga meditation or exercise. It is longer stretches that are simple, but they hit the target areas that you need to release that energy, that tension, that stuff you don't want in your body anymore that your body is holding. You got to move with curiosity, not perfection. Give yourself a break. Be kind to yourself. Remember that movement is unlocking the flow of energy. So pay attention to that. I know sometimes I'm meditating and you might see me on my lives and I'll be dead in a meditation and I start stretching. Why? Because my body is asking me to release. Or I start moving my neck. I even do it. I could be mid-conversation and you'll see me. Well, I'm not trying to be rude, but I have tension and I need to move it. So I'm going to. This is something that I need you guys to hold on to. And again, even with walking, I love walking, but there are days where I can feel that I'm not going to be able to do a long hike. Okay, 10 minutes around the block. My wife and I will go for a 10-minute walk after dinner. That encourages your digestion. It encourages the chemicals in your body to work correctly. It encourages your body to work correctly. So gentle movement. Remember, the small movements are helping you. And even though you might think, oh, this is going to hurt later, and it might hurt later because when you don't move for a long time and you start to, it hurts a little bit. It does. I'm not going to lie to you guys. But think of it, the way I think of it is like when you go to the gym and you're healthy, but you get this good workout in and the next day you're a little bit sore. Think about it like that. Keep it gentle and please be kind to yourself and listen to your bodies, okay? We've talked about a few things that you can do physically, right? And even though writing is a physical activity, it's also a mental activity because it helps you become aware. This is bringing the awareness back into play. So we're going to talk about reflection and journaling. I am your girl for journaling. I love to journal. I love to write. I am much better at writing what's on my brain than I am talking about it. So the same goes for my awareness, right? I'm much better at writing down how I'm feeling and then going back and reading it so I can become aware, not on paper. So this is something that's important for us, especially because we forget. If you have brain fog, the way that chronic pain can make you forget how you're feeling even is ridiculous. So, reflection and journaling, especially after you do the breath work or the meditation or the yin yoga or anything that you do, anything. I actually wrote a book back in the day. It's called The Blessing of Somatic Therapy Techniques by Heals and Natyheals. And I'm no longer really selling the book like that, and I don't run Not the Heels anymore because we switched to Sol de Luz Wellness. However, the book is still out there, and if you're looking for some somatic therapy exercises, I highly recommend it. There's also a workbook with it. Because the reflection part, that's why I made the workbook. It helps anchor your body after the experience, helping grow your awareness on what's going on with yourself. Writing down your sensations and your emotions that surface during the practice can help you really understand what your body is going through, what it's holding on to. I want you to ask yourself, what part of my body spoke the loudest during the session? What emotions surfaced while I was doing this? Giving up, anger, sadness? What emotion do you feel? And what did you feel ready to release? What do you feel ready to release? Was it got in a fight yesterday and, I did this practice and I want to release it and I want to write about that? Or is it something that happened in your childhood? Whatever that is, it's up to you. Remember, this is your practice. And when you're doing your own practice, you have to listen to yourself, my loves. All right, so this is an important part. These are things that I need you to look for after you do any type of somatic work, whether it be meditation, whether it be physical, any type of work. You want to look for physical responses, especially with chronic illness, okay? Pay attention to physical and emotional responses as they can indicate tension release and the process of energy. So important, guys. Physical responses that you can get are tingling, shaking, and warmth. And trust me, yes, it has happened to me. Fatigue and muscle soreness, which in the beginning will make you think, oh no, I threw myself into a flare up. And yeah, you probably did because you're awakening that nervous system. You're going to stop just treating symptoms and we're going to start trying to heal. So as that awakens and everything starts to process and the energy starts to shift, remember, the fatigue is temporary, and so are the emotions and the tears. Okay? These are just signs that something is shifting. An emotional release can look like crying, laughing, anger, feeling lighter or calmer, increased emotional sensitivity, mental clarity, and even dream activity. What do you do after a practice? Well, I want you guys to hydrate, rest, and please be gentle with yourself. Healing may feel tender before it gets better. Okay? After the session, it can be beneficial, again, to journal, to gently move your body, to stay hydrated, rest, and be patient with yourself as you're integrating the experience. It takes time, guys. It takes time for the energy to be released. It takes time for you to feel better. It takes time. Physical responses can be signs that the energy is moving and the tension is being released from the body. And the fatigue is just a release of the emotions, of the physical stress that requires the energy. And that leaves. And it leaves you feeling tired because it's a normal response to flight, fight, or freeze. Just a normal response. If you get muscle soreness, aches, this can occur when your body releases what is stored for a long time. It's been in your body for a long time and it's going to take your body a little bit of extra work to release it. You may feel dizziness, you may feel off balance, and these are just temporary. And I know when you're first starting and you're really just looking to feel better, knowing that you can have some side effects to something that you're doing to feel better is a little bit crazy. No, it's nerve-wracking, right? Because you don't want to feel worse. But if you have chronic illness and you're not doing these things, you're probably going to feel worse anyway. And if you're not feeling worse yet, repeating the pattern, definition of insanity, repeating the cycle over and over again, expecting a different result, that's insanity. Stop doing it. It is time that we speak up for ourselves even if it's to ourselves, it is time that we start feeling better. I really, really hope now that we're getting to the 30-minute mark. I didn't want this lesson to be very, very long, as I've seen some lessons are hours long, and we don't all have time for that or the energy, right? This is just the intro. So let's get it, guys. Congratulations, you've taken your first steps in somatic healing. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of this. I hope that you learned something good today, even if it's just to be kind to yourself. And this is just module 1. This is the beginning to the deeper stuff. I just want to congratulate you. Congratulations on taking time for yourself. Congratulations for taking a step forward in the right direction, which is healing. Los amo. I love you guys. Thank you again for being here. Follow along. All my social medias are in the links. Sol de Luz Wellness. Follow if you're interested in a solo one-on-one. Go to Sol de Luz Wellness. I have a free intro call that I do with you, and then we can talk about what kind of work that you want. I love you guys. Take care. Bye.